And we are testing.
Test,
How do
test.
I sound?
You sound great to me.
You sound great to me too.
And there's no lag right now. We'll
Yeah, I
see
think
how.
what happens is like when we overlap with each other, the sound quality goes down. Like it doesn't know how to process them or something. That's what I've
Okay.
noticed.
Okay.
Like when we talk, interrupt each other, which I feel like is our style when we're in person and it's
Hard.
fine.
Hard.
Okay, let me stop and see. I need
You
more.
look exactly the same when you do that.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. Welcome to No Ordinary Friendship.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Teresa.
Let's catch up.
Hello, listeners.
Hello, listeners. Today we are
Welcome
remote
back.
because
Yes. Because what?
because Cassie's teachers are developing, having
The staff is
development
being
days.
developed.
Yes.
I wonder if they really do anything or if it's just like an opportunity for teachers to complain to administration about something, you know? Like it's like the only time they probably have for meetings.
True. I'm sure there's some team building, I don't know, but I do know they do kind of like a deep clean, which I appreciate. Like they
Yeah,
take all the toys out and like wash them or whatever. They like sometimes replace old broken toys, so it's like a mini
right.
reset, which is nice.
That is really nice. And probably a nice reset for the teachers too to do something a bit different than watch the kids all day.
Totally. I get it. They need a break.
Totally.
Although I will
Ah,
say it's actually been kind of nice. I feel like Cassie has finally reached that age where it's not like all like caregiving. It's like a lot more interacting and
yeah.
playful, lots of conversations. Yesterday, she gave me the biggest compliment because she asked me, oh, how do people get on the radio? Like, how do people singing get on the radio? And I was like, oh, well, you have to be a really, really good singer, and then they'll put your song on the radio. And then later that day, we were just like singing together to Frozen, and she was like, Mama, when are they gonna put you on the radio? And I was like, oh, you think I'm a good singer?
So
It's really
cute.
sweet because she has no like ulterior motives.
Right. It's just pure.
Yeah, but I think the bar is low because, like, I sing on key, and that's something that she and Charlie are still working on.
Is Victor a good singer?
Yeah, he's decent. He sings on
That's
key too.
great. That's great. Steven does not.
Oh, really?
Not only does he not sing on key, but he also doesn't have any rhythm.
Oh, good
So, it's
combo.
just really challenging and, like, rage-inducing sometimes when he's trying to sing to the kids. But it's still very sweet.
It's the love and the effort behind it.
Totally, totally. But, Logan doesn't pull back any punch. He just goes, "No, no, stop it."
Yeah, our kids keep us humble for sure.
Yeah. Okay, breaking news.
Yes. I want to know. Okay, so listeners, we were in Vegas last weekend, which was just such a joy. I'm still like reminiscing about
Joy.
it. 2 short nights for me. But I left early to take care of some mom obligations on Sunday, and Teresa and Evelyn got to go see a magic show as I was departing for the airport. So I want to know, how was it?
I think it's so funny how we even ended up at the magic show too, because prior to getting to Vegas, we had talked about the things that we wanted to do, the lounges we wanted to go to. But in terms of like an actual show, we threw some stuff around, but never committed to anything, which is totally fine. That's like super us.
Yeah.
And then once we got there, we saw one of those, like, what are they called on the taxi cabs? It was just like a straight up plastic
Yeah.
advertisement on top of the taxi cabs, right? I remember seeing YouTube videos of him, and for a while, he definitely was viral because he was on America's Got Talent,
Uh-huh.
which I didn't even remember. Like our friend Evelyn had
Yeah,
to
our
tell me
friend
that
is
because she
apparently an avid AGT viewer because she knew like all the winners, and we're like, okay, is that a big deal?
right before Emily was leaving, we're like, "Well, what are we gonna do tonight with our beloved friend?" And Luckily, we found this. It was in our hotel or in the hotel connected to us,
Mhm.
and it was just great. I loved it. But we got there and I was not sure what to expect because a magic show has to be fairly intimate for you to
Right.
fully,
To be able to see
especially
it,
because
right?
of the type of magic that he does. He does a lot of card tricks, and so if it's a really large
Oh,
theater, how is that any different from us watching it on YouTube? Because you can't get
yeah.
close to him at all anyway.
Uh-huh.
Um, he started off with like, everybody had cards that were in this little packet, kinda like those little Pokemon card packets.
Uh-huh.
Everybody had 4 cards, and his first act involved everybody. And I felt like that really got the crowd going because it was crazy how I don't know how to
What did he
describe it,
do on
but,
it?
like, there were 4 cards, you rip it in half, and over a series of, like, different questions and, like, just, like, random things, like, you get
Uh-huh.
rid of certain cards, whether they're top, bottom, middle, or, like, whatever. You just continue to throw them on the ground, and
Uh-huh.
then but at some point in time, you put one of the 8 cards into your pocket, and at the very end, the last card that you had matched up with the card in your pocket.
What?
The crowd went wild, right? And that was, like, his very first act, and then people just, like, it's Vegas, people are a little drunk, they're like it was kind of incredible, and I was like, "Oh, no," it kinda reminded me of Giggly Squad
Uh-huh.
because we were sitting in the middle back area, and Shin's Lin's voice is I don't know, it was loud, but it wasn't super clear,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, "Oh, no, this is gonna be like Giggly Squad, a bunch of drunk people talking the whole time, and I can't hear him." But the show itself was pretty cool. It's called Limitless, and it goes through his journey. I guess the show is based upon, like, his story of, like, how he was little and
Oh,
and there was,
okay.
like, a bit of storytelling to get to where he is now. He didn't even get to the America's Got Talent portion, but he talked about, some of the big like, the Olympics of magic. He had various guest stars in there. I don't even know if they're
Oh,
considered
really?
guest stars, but one of them was his wife.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, I guess he met her in Macau, I think, and
Uh-huh.
she was a dancer there, and so she was, like, doing some acrobatic stuff while also performing magic, which, to be honest, was a little weird.
Whatever. Because you don't like Cirque du Soleil. You're like, this is creeping into territory I don't want. That was
I
Teresa's
was
veto.
like,
She was like, I'll watch anything except a Cirque du Soleil show.
"That's right, there's no need for all these Cirque du Soleil shows, and we are in our 40s now, and unless our kids wanna go watch it, like, I am done with Cirque du Soleil. I don't need any more." It's like the same iteration of the same
Soleil
things.
is amazing. I feel like they're so talented.
Okay, another guest star that he had too was an American Idol finalist.
Oh, okay. Did they
So
sing
he
then?
was yeah, this guy was singing a song while Shin was performing magic, and I was like, "Is this guy just, like, throwing his bestie a bone or something
I
over
think
here?" Because
so.
he was very much like, "Oh, you gotta listen to the lyrics," but honestly, did you need him to sing live? Did you really
He's
need
just a
that song?
distraction so that Shin could
Oh,
do his
maybe.
show.
Yeah, and he had a mentalist that was pretty much like the opener slash narrator of the entire show too,
Uh-huh.
which I thought was pretty cool, but for mentalists, our friend and I were chatting, like, don't really believe it, like, unless he does something on me specifically, anyone can be a plant.
Right,
Anyone. Like,
right.
just because you say you're not a plant, does not mean you're not a plant.
That's a good point. I never thought of that.
You can pay me, and I will also say I'm not a plant and be your plant.
Everyone has a price.
I thought his entire, character and his personality on stage was very
Mhm.
endearing, and it's truly incredible because he also talks about this he had severe carpal tunnel, from all the
Wow.
10,000 hours of practicing for something, and he
Uh-huh.
had to get stitches because I think he tore specific tendons around his thumbs from all the practice,
Oh my gosh.
and he had footage that he played of the doctor telling him, like, he'll never be able to do magic again in the
Oh.
same way. But
Aw.
he worked to overcome that, which is why the show is called Limitless, and it was kind of inspiring and a very cool show for, I think, middle sch or for kids, right? Like middle schoolers,
Mhm.
teenagers, and maybe even like a 9 or 10-year-old.
Okay, so is the verdict I remember the tickets were, like, around $100. Would you
Right.
say it was worth the money?
Yeah, I do. And I was actually even thinking like everyone like he asked for volunteers quite a bit, but
Uh-huh.
if you do want to be picked on or selected to go on stage or like to do something, to draw something, like
Mhm.
you got to sit in the first couple of rows.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. But I also feel like that makes it kind of sketchy too. A part of me is
They're
turning
all
into our friend. Yeah, a part of me is turning into our friend that's like a huge skeptic of anything and thinks everything is out to get her. So
I think no, I think that is healthy in this environment to have that skepticism. Like, I need to have it
critical
both.
thinking, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but I would highly recommend it. I was even thinking like, "Oh, if I ever take my parents, like, I would want us to buy seats in the front, I
Oh,
don't know, like
okay.
front 5 or 10 rows."
So you can be closer to the action.
Yeah, closer to the action. Although I would say every seat is probably a good seat. The theater's pretty small anyway, and
Mhm,
but it did remind me, like, this was a pretty modern new theater, and you can
mhm,
tell too because the seats are wider, it's very comfortable, the graphics were cool, even though it wasn't, like, the best stage or sound set, it's still
mhm.
better than all the musicals that we watch in San Francisco that are, like, the tiniest seats
Oh,
ever and
yeah.
super, super short legroom.
Okay, nice. I can put that on the list for the future since I didn't get to see it. Should we move to guess how much? I just put a couple random things on here. Yesterday, I took Cassie to Stanford Mall just so I had somewhere to drive her so she could nap. And when we got there, I actually had like 10, 15 minutes before I had to turn around and come back and pick up Charlie. So I was like, I'll just take her to go get like some C's candy. And she picked a lollipop because they have all these like really cute Easter themed things right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's been ages since I bought a C's candy lollipop. Guess how much it was?
I know this.
You do. You're a frequenter.
Because well, no, I'm not a frequenter, but because, is it 250?
Yeah, with the little Easter egg thingy on it. Did you see that? I think
Oh,
it's like 150
no.
without it or something.
Oh, well, I guess I bought one, the same exact thing at the airport, so they maybe marked up the price a
Oh,
little
yeah, the
bit.
airport probably marks it up. But I remember them
Yeah.
being like, I don't know, really cheap, like 25 cents or something. Am I wrong?
What? I don't know, I was never a big See's candy lollipop person, but the price seemed okay to me because I do see See's as premium. But
Yeah.
the special thing that they put around it is way too
Uh-huh.
expensive. I would never buy that.
It was fine. I was like, okay, you can pick because you napped. Okay.
Cute though.
Yeah, it's really cute. My next one is so we are planning to go to Cabo for spring break next month, and I started to look into airport transportation. Guess how much? I'm giving you two options. One is how much our resort would charge us for private transportation, and then a friend gave me a contact for just a random, like privately owned person. Guess how much
Yeah.
this is?
Gosh, they're so expensive, aren't they?
Yes, but I think everything's expensive.
I wonder how it compares to our private transportation when we went to Cabo for the bachelorette
I
party.
don't even remember what we paid.
Nearly 8 years ago, I think. Okay, is it $400 for the hotel one?
And how about for the other one?
200.
Okay, so the hotel one for 1 to 6 people was 260, I think, which I already thought was crazy because the Cabo airport is not that far away from like all the resorts. Isn't it like less than a 30-minute drive?
Yeah, I think
Um,
so.
and then my friend gave me a contact who for a sedan, but I think they'll provide car seats if you need it. It
Mhm.
was $45 each way. So
That's
way
really cheap.
cheaper.
Wait,
So
that's so
listeners, if
cheap.
anybody is going to Cabo and needs a airport transfer, hit me up.
Yeah, wait, that's like a much better deal. That's like the same price as an Uber to
I
SF.
know. So honestly, it's always so nice to have friends who do a ton of research because she's like, I looked up so many different things and this was the cheapest one and he was like fine, he was reliable. Like one day there was traffic so he was late, but I think like anybody
Yeah.
could have been late, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yes.
Wait, that's such a good you gotta, like, put his information out there because that is a I have never I think I researched Cabo private
Uh-huh.
transportation before, it was never that cheap, especially
Yeah.
not with car seats.
Yeah, it's crazy because the difference, like it's literally you're gonna get the same thing you're gonna get from point A to point B, but they're
Yeah.
charging you so much more.
Yeah, I think well, I guess I've never seen a sedan out there, which is kinda weird, right? I've only
They
seen
had
SUVs.
an SUV option. I forget how much it was. It's still not that much. It was like 65. So I think we
What?
might do the SUV just because I don't know how much like crap we're gonna have. Um,
Yeah, wait, I'm actually shocked, Emily, by
Price
the pricing that you're sharing. I remember the last time I went to Cabo, it was over $100 for
each
me and
way.
Steven. Yeah, each way.
Yeah, that's what I think the going rate is. So this person is, but he's already raised his prices from when she went, I think last year, because she told me
Yeah.
she paid 35 each way.
What? That just seems like this man deserves a big tip. My
I know.
goodness.
I know. I'll bring him a seed candy lollipop.
I kinda wanna go to Cabo now to take advantage of this cheap airport transfer.
I'll give you his contact.
Alright,
Um,
pop culture.
so I didn't finish watching Grey's Anatomy. I don't even know if it's still going, but I think I stopped around season 10 or 11. And even then, I don't think I was as loyal of a watcher as like when it was first out and I watched it every Sunday religiously. Um,
Uh-huh.
but apparently, Ellen, I don't know how to say her last name actually, Pompeo.
Pompeo?
Is that right?
I don't
Pompeo.
know.
But everyone knows her as Meredith Grey. Apparently, she was on the show for 19 years.
The show was on for 19 years?
And it possibly is still going. I'm not sure. Um,
What?
but she was recently on an episode of Call Her Daddy,
Mhm.
which I listen to mostly for like who they interview or who she interviews. I think like sometimes it's a really interesting person or just, a
Yeah.
big celebrity. But honestly, I didn't know much about the actress. I just know her as Meredith Grey. But it was cool to hear like her as a person talking. And she's like, she grew up apparently like in Boston area, not in the greatest parts of town. She's like, I knew people who were kind of like the mafia. She's a lot more rugged than you would expect because of her character in Grey's
Uh-huh.
Anatomy. But just hearing her talk, oh, I didn't realize she was actually like such a big part of my 20s because I watched the show so much that hearing her voice in a way is just very nostalgic and comforting and made me want to go back and watch Grey's Anatomy again.
Aw, that's really sweet. She's kinda like your comfort voice. She brought
Yeah,
you back.
just like hearing her talk about her experience, she was like, it's actually, I think, a worthwhile listen that episode because she also talks just about women like having financial freedom is like the ultimate independence and
Yeah.
how we know women in general are paid less than men in any field. So, like, if you are a woman, the default should be like, you need to shoot your shot and ask for more because chances are you're
Mhm.
getting paid less than like the guy next to you. And I thought that was
Mhm.
like really cool and inspiring of her to like tell these younger listeners.
Yeah.
But she also
How
said like, oh,
how old is she now?
she's in her 50s. I think she's
Oh,
doing
pretty
like the
young.
interview circuit because she's actually in a new show. I forget what thing it's on, maybe Hulu or something.
Is it also medical?
No, it's not medical. I don't know what it's about, but it's like walking the line because I think it talks about maybe like children with who are like neurodivergent, maybe about
Mm.
child abuse or something, or I don't know
Oh, wow.
exactly what, but it's like a little bit controversial in topic. But she was saying like yeah, some people maybe think like her career path wasn't the most creative because she just did one thing for so long. But for her, it was the right choice because she wanted to be present as a mom and
Mhm.
able to shoot everything in LA meant she could go home every night, she could be with her family. And I just thought that was interesting because I feel like you don't think about people being moms when they're celebrities, like actors or
Right.
singers. But I'm sure it is like really hard to balance when you're constantly going off on location and like being away from your family for months on end.
Yeah, I did see snippets of her talking about motherhood and
Mhm.
truly like the challenges, and she's very transparent. I don't know how old her kids are now, but it was very relatable, which is probably why that particular clip went viral as well.
Yeah. She has three kids, and I think the oldest is 15, and is the reason that she did the call her daddy thing. Because I think she was like checking her phone and was like, Mom, you have to do this. So it's really cute.
But you're right, you don't really think of celebrities as working moms, even though they totally are, and even though
Yeah,
on the outside it feels like she had such a successful career, it's still a sacrifice. Like, I
yeah,
don't know what her aspirations were, but maybe she did wanna do other projects. She was probably approached to do a lot of things because
yeah,
she was a really big name at the time, but she chose to stay in one
yeah,
place to have the stability for her kids
yeah, exactly.
and herself.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I had to say.
I like it. Yeah, I haven't seen her in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so this Van Cleef thing, we were chatting about it a little bit in Vegas, but have you
Mhm.
caught up with like the whole drama that has progressed
Um,
since then?
Tell the listeners, I guess, a quick summary of what's been going on.
Yeah, okay. So this influencer, thank goodness she's an influencer, based in Hawaii. She basically she has a five motif Van Cleef, like this gold 18 karat gold bracelet, and so
Hmm.
it should be all gold, it shouldn't tarnish. She went into her local Van Cleef where she bought it, and she was like, look, it's tarnished, there's some rust on it, and she shows pictures of it, and it's so clear that there's a big brown spot in the middle of
Oh,
her bracelet. And I think they got it cleaned and polished. It still came back looking the same, or very like not much has changed. So they sent it off to New York to get it
uh-huh.
professionally polished with some special machine. Came back and she told her sales associate, like, you can still see it. And he said that he could still see it. But
Hmm.
then the manager of that store came over and she starts kind of like gaslighting them a bit, being like, no, look, you have to look at it this way from this angle. But the
Oh,
rust and the tarnish and the brown spot was so obvious that, like, I don't think you can it wasn't really something that was like, "Oh, if you turn it this way, you can see it, turn it that way, you can't see it." But she made it seem like that way, and this influencer, this girl got, like, snippet of that interaction,
hmm.
and I felt kinda bad for the male sales associate because clearly the manager was gaslighting him a bit as
Yeah.
well, just being and so she was like, "You can't see it anymore, right?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, it's a little bit less obvious now."
Oh
And
gosh.
the entire approach to the customer service and that initial interaction is what made her video blow up
Hmm.
because she said that even though the manager said that she couldn't see it, she was taking pictures of it and, like, zooming in to show the lady. Um, she said what she sent it to her friends could all see it, and her
Hmm.
husband who was there in the store could also see it.
Yeah.
And the manager was like, "Well, are your friends here?" And that just, like, is kind of a rude comment, right? It's, like,
Yeah.
very I don't know. She was trying to do something with that comment there. They offer her 2 options. One of the options was she could replace or she could go ship it off again to New York to get it professionally polished, but she would have to
Mhm.
pay $180 or something. Or I think she could replace the motif, but you have to pay for that as well. Keep in mind, she had just bought this bracelet. It's only been 2 months and it was tarnished to be that bad. And so the comments were like, "Is this even real gold? Like, what kind of mixture are they using here? Like, gold should not tarnish. My fake ones don't even do this. Cartier could never." That's the initial story. It goes on and on for a while. She gains a lot more traction. She makes follow-up videos. The crazy thing is, like, the company, Van Cleef, never reached out to her, and it was getting a lot of bad press for a
Yeah.
while, and people were really questioning the quality of their pieces, especially because it's not a stone, which Van Cleef sells a lot of, or, like, different
Mhm.
materials where
It's
you
just
have to take
gold.
care of them. Yeah, it's just straight gold. Somebody from corporate finally calls her,
Uh-huh.
because this thing wasn't losing any steam on social media.
Yeah.
They apologize and they offer her a replacement, and she was like, "No, actually, I just rather" she's like, "This has been a horrible experience. I would actually just rather send it back." So
Oh,
she could have gotten, like, a
okay.
free bracelet, I think.
Yeah,
Um, or actually not a free one because she paid for it already, but a
yeah.
replacement one. And so she sends it back, and Van Cleef sends her a gift. And everyone's like, "Oh, interesting." It was a really big box, sent her
Uh-huh.
some orchids as well, and it was a book. They sent
What?
her a book on how Van Cleef jewelry is made. So everyone was like, "This is the most passive aggressive
Oh
thing
my
ever."
gosh. Van Cleef is like, "We literally do not give a fuck about you."
No, and not only do we not give a fuck, we're gonna be really petty about it too.
Wow. Oh, that leaves like a bad taste in your mouth though.
Yeah.
Like,
I
why go there when it's for them, it's a drop in the bucket and they could have like handled it so much better and have a lot of good press, and instead they're like dragging their feet and making everyone dislike them.
yeah, so, like, imagine if she were not an influencer, right? Like, she's not the craziest, like, she has maybe
Yeah.
5 I think she had 500,000 followers when this started, now she has
Mhm.
700,000 followers, but she's not huge,
Yeah.
but big enough where she had a voice and enough for it to go viral, and now a lot of people are stitching her videos as well. But
Yeah.
it kinda puts a bad taste in my mouth in how Van Cleef handled it, and,
Yeah.
um,
But
it
okay,
just
is
felt
it
like
going to affect you purchasing future Van Cleef items?
I don't think I would ever purchase from that Hawaii store because she
Mm.
actually played a voice message
Mhm.
from the manager of that store who was she was texting her sales associate, the male one, and then she's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, the other" she thought the other lady was also a sales associate. She calls back, is like, "Actually, I'm the store manager."
Oh.
Um, she just she all she wanted was an apology from that manager,
Yeah.
and nothing. She got, like it was just crickets from her Van Cleef store in, I think, Ala Moana?
Okay.
They only have 1. But I don't know, there's nothing I really want from Van Cleef right now, terribly.
You're gonna give it a mini boycott.
Mini boycott, yeah.
I
Well, it does make me think
what?
how important customer service really is, though.
I saw this morning that the influencer Monica, posted that Becca Bloom started following her, and people in the comments were like, "This would never happen to Becca Bloom."
Yeah,
Like,
it's
imagine if
so true.
she found a tarnished thing. I feel like Van Cleef would like bend over backwards and like I don't know what they would do, but definitely not treat her
No.
that way.
Yeah, well, Becca obviously is, like purchases way more from
Yeah,
them, but at the end of the day, Monaco is still a paying customer.
yeah,
Yeah, and they treat
yeah.
but Becca apparently her and Monica had chatted about it, and Becca even said like, "Oh, yeah, Van Cleef treated her horribly."
Aw, she seems like a nice person.
She's so vocal.
I don't have anything from Van Cleef, but this definitely makes me not want to support them when I feel like other brands are nicer to their customers until proven wrong.
Until proven wrong,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, but I mean, for so many years, nothing like this comes out of Cartier or nothing like this comes out of Tiffany's.
that's true. Yeah, Tiffany's, well, like you take like super tarnished sterling silver to Tiffany's and they'll shine it right up.
Love that. Is that true?
Yeah, I think so. Like because they'll
Oh,
clean it. Or I don't know if things have changed, but what back when we all had like the Tiffany's something necklace that was
yeah.
silver and it would get rusty, and I feel like you bring it in and they will just clean it.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely oxidize. I've cleaned a lot of my jewelry during COVID, and a lot of it was the sterling silver, Tiffany stuff, and the
Mhm.
baking soda hack is perfect. It, like, cleans it up so well, it looks like new again.
Wait, what is the baking soda hack?
I think you just, like, put it in baking soda and water. It's
Oh,
on just Google it, but it
okay.
truly, like, polishes that thing right up, and it truly looks like new again, super shiny.
Oh, okay. I'll need to try that.
Yeah. Okay, the next thing I was gonna tell you about was the lock outside bathroom door. This is kind of creepy. I saw this on TikTok. A woman was just at a gas station in
Uh-huh.
Texas, and she notices a lock, one of those like not padlock,
The chain one?
deadbolt.
Oh,
No, not a chain. one of those bolted ones.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm talking about with the things, the prongs that come out?
Yeah.
Anyways, it's a pretty large log that has a lot of reinforcement, but it was on the outside of the women's bathroom.
What?
Outside of the women's bathroom, not in the stalls, but, like, the actual door to get into the bathroom, and she comes
Uh-huh.
out, she takes a video, and she's like, "Look, it's not on the men's side, only on the women's side." She's like, "Am I just freaking out and this actually there's a good reason for this? Or, like, why would this be here unless you're literally trying to lock someone in there?" The
Yeah.
women's bathroom in a gas station, in a college town as well. When she was making the video about it, she said the reaction of the workers there made her even more suspicious because they were, like, mad at her. Because I feel like if you're just working there and you're making a video about it, like, no one would even care, right? It's got a
Yeah.
lock. So her first video was just like, "Can someone tell me what's the reason for this?" Maybe it's just, like, not coming to me.
Yeah.
People were super freaked out by it and the fact that there's absolutely no reason to have that. She ended up posting the location of it, and people called the police. She called the police and then the fire marshal, and the fire marshal had them remove it.
Oh, wow.
But when people reverse engineered or looked at the picture, it's a remote controlled lock.
What?
Like, there's just so many things about this that made it so suspicious, and
Yeah.
folks were like, "We gotta look at how many people have gone missing from that general area too."
That's so scary.
And I'm so glad that she posted something like this out there because it's gonna make me more aware because the lock wasn't where the door handle is, it was, like, on
Mhm.
top. It was higher, right, than where you would
Yeah,
normally look, and I feel like as a woman, you just you can never let your guard down. You just always have to be aware
truly.
of your surroundings.
Yeah, I would never even think to look up, because why would there be a lock on the outside?
And it's remote controlled too, so, like, even if there were cameras there, it could lock and you would never know who locked it.
The only thing that I can think of is, like, maybe they're preparing for, like, the zombie apocalypse or something.
Oh, why only in the women's?
I don't know, that's a good
Put it in
question.
the men's too. And
Right.
when they were asked about it, when police questioned the gas station, they said that
Mhm.
it's because during lunch, they're super it sounds super racist, but they were like, during lunch, Hispanic men will come in and tear up the women's bathroom. But, like, why would you put a lock on the outside? Like, you would put a, like, little keypad in for both the men and women's
Yeah,
side or something to prevent them from going in, not lock them in there so it could
and
tear it up even more.
yeah, like, if you're trying to lock it so no one can go in, putting the lock on the outside, anyone can just unlock it, right? Or
Right.
do you need the remote? I don't know.
I don't know, it was
Doesn't
kind
make
of high
sense.
up or she was able to reach it,
Reach
so maybe
it?
it's not too high up, but
Mhm.
there's just no reason for it. So be aware out there, people.
Yes. Don't let your guard down.
Okay, we're at time. Should we end it there?
Sounds good. Thanks for listening, everyone. Please remember to
Ha
subscribe, rate, and share with your friends.
have a great week.
Bye.